All right, so here we go. And these are just some links that you can get to the practitioner dietary supplement guide that has all of this stuff detailed in about a 30-page document with all the clinical trials and references around the ingredients and the rationale for a product like this. But we're going to talk about, I'm going to do a collagen background before we get into the product itself. And this is it right here, right? This is the new label that you guys see on it now. And it is what it is, type 2 collagen, and it's hydrolyzed chondroitin sulfate and hyaluronic acid, which is another huge buzzword. You see it in every cosmetic creams these days. You see it everywhere, and that brings that fluid to the joint and to your skin. Anyway, so what we're using this for to support joint activity recovery, so athletes to recover better as well, like they do for muscles, but different, and then or discomfort, and then skin protection and health. And we're going to start with this and end with this. The whole idea is to live, look, and move better longer. Keep new skin and joint building blocks flowing daily. And this is the perfect collagen, hyaluronic acid, and chondroitin sulfate supplement to complement your multivitamin to help restore and protect your skin and joints. Helps with minor joint discomfort and supports improved mobility. These are all factual things that we will show you on the studies. Supports active athletes. And the reason we have all of our competitive athletes use this because joints need recovery after getting them beat up, just like your muscles do when you use a protein or amino formula to help them recover better. Well, this is your joints amino formula, if you will, to protect, and that helps protect against common injuries because your joints are healing between bouts of exercise. I got a nice little diagram for all that. And it's a must for anyone trying to maintain or help restore their youthful skin appearance, including reducing lines, wrinkles, and improving skin hydration. We call it beauty from within. All right. So here we go. Let's see a little background here. And this makes everything sort of make sense. You got to have the little science lesson, for the day. So collagen, what is it? It is the primary structural protein in tendon, ligament, cartilage, what we call cartilaginous tissues, skin, and bone. And by the way, 30% of all body protein. It is the largest amount of protein in the human body, more than skeletal muscle, more than anything. But it's an incomplete protein. It's not like skeletal muscle, which is a complete protein, and that's why you have to have complete proteins to use it, which are animal proteins, which are very high in essential amino acids. But so you don't use collagen to repair muscle. It's because it lacks tryptophan and cysteine. So there's two amino acids that this is not a complete protein. So it's basically like having two links missing on a bicycle chain, so it's useless for repairing that type of complete protein source. So it's low in essential amino acids, but that are necessary for muscle protein synthesis. But here's where it comes in. It's very high in glycine, so more than an animal protein, but even though collagen is from animal, but from an animal meat, I should say, or like a dairy. High in glycine, high in proline, hydroxyproline, and you can see them all here, arginine. These are the molecules that are found in the collagen protein. So your collagen, your skin, your hair, and nail, all these things are made up of collagen. And now, so as far as the supplements go, there's different derivatives of these collagen substances. There's peptides, there's single amino acids, like of the ones that get the call outs that I have up there. And then there's other bioactive collagen supplements. And they're commonly used by people today. Everybody's shopping for a collagen product for protection and repair of the collagenous tissues, which is skin, hair, joint, connective tissues, and so forth. Those are those tissues. The problem, though, like there's some kind of miracle, you're going to take it and all of a sudden your joints are going to heal and they're going to be great. And there's going to be, your skin's going to go right back to the way it looked when you were like 15 years old. Yeah, we all wish. The collagen supplement delivery to the target tissue, the goal is to get them to the dermis underneath the skin. All right, we want to get it there, the underlying part. So we have collagen there to support it, keep the wrinkles away and so forth. We also want to get it to the joint, right? We want to get these particular amino acids here. We want to get them to the joint. But the problem is the delivery to the target tissues is compromised and generally unsuccessful for most of the forms that are out there. They're broken down in digestion, and then the amino acids are pretty much scattered everywhere. So that's what the problem has always been. So, and again, when it comes to other things, it's not just the collagen building materials that be missing by taking collagen, all of a sudden everything's going to work that's in short supply. It's really the machinery to build the collagen that doesn't work as well as we get older or fast enough for complete repair. So what we're trying to do is giving it built more building blocks. That's what everybody's trying to do. So whatever machinery there is there, it can have at least more material to get it up there daily. Solutions are elusive, though, of getting to the target tissues. And this is a big take home for you guys, because you'll see how we did the best we could to solve it. Because of sports and aging, supplements to support joint and skin health are extremely popular. I don't need to tell you that. And drawing continuous research to discover successful ingredients of collagen, because there's many different types of collagen out there. I'm sure you're, which one should I get? Which one should I get? Every one of your customers is saying the same thing. So that's what your take home today is going to be about, including the forms of the collagen, the synergy. So what are the molecules in there? How's the chondroitin and the hyaluronic acid and the type 2 collagen? Where's it taken from? Its origin. All right. And the size, is it too big to get in? So it all gets broken down in the stomach and then scattered everywhere? Really get through our intestines? But again, the bottom line is that's the issues that scientists are looking for, to reach those target areas in sufficient quantity to support the synthesis process of making and hasten recovery, speed recovery, and reduce the discomfort so we can avoid the drugs eventually, or just keep them from going bad in the first place. In other words, slow natural aging. Okay. Little background. So when athletes use it for recovery and protection. So we actually have our athletes take the joint. They'll actually use the Joint Skin Collagen product with their pre-workout protein, or put it with their amino formula. But here's what it looks like. The goal here is to have these peptides, right? Collagen derivatives. They're used to increase collagen synthesis in the body to help repair exercise-induced damage of the tissues. Because don't forget, that constant jumping motion and stopping and starting. We were talking to Gabby about I can't even imagine the pounding the joints take in gymnastics. It's crazy how much is that. You're bound to have a knee injury. But this is a great diagram that kind of shows you the whole thing. Just like muscle has to recover over a period of time, it takes a little longer for these collagenous tissues to recover. So take a look at this. The rationale for increasing the precursor molecules, or the amino acids we just looked at on the previous page, is to support growth and repair, such as ligament, tendon, fascia, cartilage, bone, and so forth here. Now, it's just like when we're supplementing complete proteins for muscle fiber recovery. But look at this. This is actually, it takes longer for the joints to recover. And this is showing you the pounding that's taking place. And you will see what takes place. This is collagen breakdown and synthesis in exercise here. So it's analogous to like your muscle breaking down. As you can see at the beginning of the exercise period, it's just getting snapped down here. All right. And then, of course, over the 24-hour period, you're getting synthesis is being fired up. This is where you started here. And you can see this went down. So your cartilage, this is the actual cartilage level in your muscle, in your joint, is going down during this pounding of exercise, and it begins to go up here, and you end up with a slightly better cartilage by the time you start your next bout of exercise. But look at that. This is 72 hours after that bout of exercise. Well, most people don't wait that long between bouts of exercise. So you can see how important it is to make sure you have all the materials available for this synthesis. So to make another diagram out of this, here's the mechanical force, and there's an adaptation that's going here to your tissues here. There's a repair process, all right? So when there's a formation process, degradation, we want the formation to overwhelm. So you end up with this here. Here you're taking your joint skin collagen product. It's coming in. And as long as it gets to the target tissues, remember, that's the magic. It's got to get to the target tissues. So as it comes in here, they get here, and then your machinery starts to build, and builds it into the collagen molecule, and it gets into our fiber, and it gets into our joint. And so that's really what you're looking at. And the goal is that there's a cartilage homeostasis. So you end up, you really end up with just a little stronger cartilage all the time. But as you can see, most athletes don't have time to do that. So again, we're talking about athletes here, the pounding that they're taking. But that's the goal. That way we can prolong their careers. For sure, in some of these things. And, many of them you can't, but many of them you actually can if you start this before you have problems. After the problems, it makes it a little bit more difficult to catch up. But that's the goal, is to be able to control all this so the synthesis is a little bit bigger than the degradation that's going to happen. All right, so listen, now that was for athletes. How about aging and discomfort joint health, right? Same goal and rationale. We just want to support the decreasing collagen levels from aging through supplying the building blocks, which is in that little capsule. So this is how our cartilage works. So you look inside here. These are your hyaluronic acid, chondroitin sulfate. They're what we call glycoaminoglycans. They're in here, and then the hyaluronic acid is bringing the water into here. It holds like 1,000 times more weight in water than the molecule itself. So you can see the cushioning effect you get in your cartilage. That's what's happening there. So that's where those molecules, here's the collagen fiber right here. The machinery is all on the outside making it. And then here are hyaluronic acid, chondroitin sulfate residing in there. But here's what happens with aging. Isn't it? This is sad. I always tell people they don't get it. They go, that's not right. That's not right. I go, you know when old age starts setting in on human beings? About 16. Right after puberty. The second you're done with puberty, old age is it's going the other way. Stop growing, obviously. Other things stop getting better. You can stave it off, by doing exercise, eating well, and all those kind of things. But bottom line is, this is what happens to your cartilage depletion. So by the time you're 25 years, you're already 10% down in the cartilage that you had when you were in puberty and before. Think about that for a minute. At 30 years, you're 20% lower in collagen. 35%. So this is that aging process. What we're seeing in our skin, our joints are all happening here. Pretty crazy, huh? So we're just trying to offset that. And this is what that looks like. This is, so you can see here's an aging joint right here, right? That's what it is. What we're trying to do is get it to get over to this side there. And you can see what happens there. That's what's going on inside, because your cartilage, your collagen fibers are all kind of snapped out there in the joints. Now you're trying bone on bone. Cartilage just gets all compressed because you don't have all that great stuff right there. So it's a good diagram, kind of show you what's happening as we age. Now let's go to skin health. The whole idea, the goal there is to replace the natural collagen losses with aging, which we just saw, okay? And here again, that actually goes down a little faster in the skin than it does in the joints and so forth. So humans lose 1% of collagen per year starting in the mid-20s, and women lose up to 30% during the first 5 years of menopause. So think about that. It's going to drop. It's going to drop that much during that period. So you're already losing it up to there, but then bang, it's going to hit pretty hard as you get there. And therefore, people use collagen supplements to support aging skin. So this is a very good diagram. It kind of gives you a picture. There's younger skin, and we all know what that looks like, okay? There's aging skin. As you can see, the collagen fibers there's just less of them. You have less hyaluronic acid, the glycoaminoglycans. You have less chondroitin sulfate, so it just starts collapsing. The dermis layer just starts to collapse underneath it. And of course, elastin, which is that thing that keeps our skin tight. Keep it from sag, keeps pulling it tight. So that's why you see when people are very overweight and they're older and they lose the weight, the skin can't contract anymore because there's no elastin left there. So it just sags. And they actually look older when they lose that. But here's a nice, healthy collagen structure. So over here, like that's what it really looks like, the molecule. There's a damaged one there. So you can see how that affects the skin, obviously. But unless you're deficient in the amino acids that you're popping from the collagen supplements, really there's not a whole lot you can actually do just by adding, you're not going to eat someone's skin and all of a sudden your skin's okay by adding those aminos that were in that skin. So it doesn't quite work that way, because most of the damage to a human being's skin is photoaging, which is insults from our environment. The ultraviolet rays, the UV rays of the sun, right? All of that. And then just the pollution in our air. Doesn't matter if you have sun or not. You're getting bombarded. And we call those environmental insults. And that's responsible for 90% of the aging in your skin. 90% of it. So we can avoid pretty much all of it. I'll give you an example. And this is kind of a strange example. But you've all seen what a baby's bottom looks like, how perfectly smooth, clear, and all that. But if you look at like an 80-year-old person's bottom, the skin is almost exactly the same because it's been covered its whole life. And that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that most of all the wrinkles, everything else we have are environmental insults, and we can protect against that. So I got a little program out there for you. All right, so here we go. Let's get into the product now, supporting all of those things. And this is probably your current best solution, including the clinical trials that support it. But here's the magic. You see that thing I just circled on the left, or rectangle. The compound makeup, the synergy and size allows passage to the target tissue. and positively influences the physiology of the joint. So there's your real take home right there. Remember I said the difficulty is getting into the target tissues and the solution has been very elusive? Well, these guys is BioCell, and this is not this is made by a very special manufacturer that has a patent on this, BioCell Collagen. And they've really cracked the code on the whole thing, which is why we use that in our product. So again, a real quick summary on that, right? The active component that works solves the dilemma of transport and action at the target. So what they've done, to micronize a low molecular weight, so it's all been smooth. I'll have a picture for you in a minute. All taken down, these collagen peptides and the glycosaminoglycans, which are the GAGs, your hyaluronic acid and your chondroitin sulfate, derived, and they're taken from the cartilage, and believe it or not, of a chicken sternum, which is identical to the same composition as the human. And it includes a naturally occurring matrix of collagen type 2 peptides, hyaluronic acid, and the chondroitin sulfate. So here's the take home. The efficacy of other products. So do they work or not? With individual components, they may have hyaluronic acid, they may have chondroitin sulfate, and they may have the collagen type 2 peptides, but they're individual components. So they're not in the same synergy of a natural ingredient. It's all kept intact, micronized, and then sent into the body, to the target tissue. So that's what affects their ability to get there. It's an unnatural synergy when you're putting in 3 different ingredients, which almost everybody does. So the bottom line, the unique natural complex present in the hydrolyzed chicken sternum cartilage may have a synergistic effect in natural levels. That's what it all does, and why we find it at the target tissues and the clinical trials were so positive. It allows the bioactive ingredient passage to and activity in those target tissues. They're getting there. So here's what it looks like. You take a look at the collagen hyaluronic acid here. It's made from the sternum here, nature's richest source of collagen and hyaluronic acid. All right. And then what they do, they take that, and if they're too big, they're not getting in. That we're trying to get in through the gut. Otherwise, they just get poor absorption if they're too big. You hydrolyze them, so they call it micronization. These are nanoparticles of this exact same synergy. Break it all up, and it mimics the human composition. So this is human cartilage right here. Those are the right percentages all the way around. It mimics it perfectly, and so that's what you end up with. And then this would offer the support for the things we just looked at, the maintenance of joints, connective tissues during exercise aging, joint discomfort, and then, of course, the recovery for athletes that we talked about, and then the dermal connective tissue, offering skin protection, health, and anti-aging properties there. All right, so let's get into the product right here, and I'll show you some clinical trials here in a minute. Goal, what's the goal? I think you guys got it already. Supply a collagen product that can actually get to the target tissues, composed of naturally occurring hydrolyzed collagen type 2 peptides, chondroitin sulfate, hyaluronic acid, not available from diet. No one's going to eat a chicken sternum. And even then it wouldn't do you any good, because you got to micronize it, get it all down, and you got to get the extract out and throw the rest away. All right, so it's not available from diet, and it's clinically established to support the health of collagenous tissues, so your tendon, ligament, cartilage, the health of all those, especially joint and skin. Let's just call that out. Improve the ratio of remember, we want more synthesis than degradation. To favor synthesis, that's what it's all. A healthy joint tissue and function. Support exercise, injury recovery, and restore the natural age-related losses. Help recover from activities, especially the ones that severely challenge connective jumping, fast directions, changes, falling off, any of these types of things that athletes have to do on a regular basis. And that's the whole idea. And that would attenuate performance decrements. That's what happens. Otherwise, you end up not being able to move so well the next day or the next workout or any of these things. And then for skin, we want to help maintain the integrity of the extracellular matrix in the dermis, the part that holds up our skin. Below the skin, crucial for that youthful appearance. So that's the goal right there. What's the rationale for joints? I think you've already got it. Those micronized ingredients derived from cartilage, extracellular matrix, right, which is just the whole thing there. Type 2 collagen, hyaluronic acid, and the chondroitin can positively increase the pool of building blocks, because they're getting there for the molecules, and the musculoskeletal connective tissue, providing the nutritional, and this is your take home, providing nutritional replenishment or balance necessary for a dynamic homeostasis. So it's constantly in a good place. Joint pain is often a condition of obviously degenerating cartilage. So this would help with that. Age, excessive activity, body weight injuries, and, being overweight. That's a big problem, with wearing out the joints very quickly. And then they don't move. They can't move enough to even lose the weight at that particular point. So what's the goal there? We want to maintain that structure. That's the rationale right there. That's all going down. That's all having problems. The rationale is to maintain that structure right there. So we end up like this. So what we're looking at here is the joint skin collagen helps maintain the bioactives, which is your chondroitin, your collagen, chondroitin sulfate, and hyaluronic acid presence in this cellular structure to improve joint function and discomfort through improving the synthesis of cartilage components and joint lubrication, which is hyaluronic acid. So also provides an effective replenishment compromised by excessive activity agent. So that's what we're trying to do right there by maintaining these structures, all of the components that are in here, which are these things right here. Then the goal is to be like this, so we don't have to go to the this is non-medical treatment, of course, to restore, rather than after the fact. And by the way, for those of you that don't know, taking, anti-inflammatories or non-steroidal anti-inflammatories or any of these things that people take, like Aleve or anything, they'll actually obviously shorten your lifespan because your organs will wear out from having to filter that, but they also accelerate the degradation. Yeah, they'll kill the pain, but you're getting even worse. You're actually doing the opposite of what these things do to try to keep the synthesis pumped up. But this is why it works. We already saw that on that previous slide. This is why it works. The mirroring of the molecular composition of human cartilage. That's what it looks like. And that's exactly what we've got in the product right here, because it's exactly what's extracted from its raw source. All right. Again, so here, rationale for ingredients, how it works. Type 2 collagen is ideal because it's naturally found in human cartilage, obviously, which also contains the hyaluronic acid, so forth. So here is a busted up cartilage. This is where it's all this is aged and damaged cartilage. You can see these are the proteoglycans. So your hyaluronic acid, and your chondroitin sulfate all snapped off, and then the collagen just can't make it. So these are all what the fragments look like there. So this is how it works. We're supplying these building blocks, chondroitin sulfate, hyaluronic acid, collagen type 2, and we're keeping it intact. So it's got all the building blocks. So rather when we are breaking it down, it's got some materials. We're getting them to the target tissues to help keep the structure alive here all the way around. All right, so here we go again, how it works. It's naturally found in human cartilage. We covered all that. Hyaluronic acid. This really provides the raw materials for joint health, as well as bringing water to the cartilage. So think of hyaluronic acid as bringing water to it. Fluid viscosity and protection and reaction, which obviously helps with the pressure. Chondroitin sulfate is this is big. This is kind of works the opposite of the way, obviously, is part of the structure. But it works the opposite. It suppresses inflammatory mediators, okay, and inhibits the cartilage degeneration. Where you're taking a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, whether it be Aleve, ibuprofen, or Tylenol, or any of this stuff here, you end up damaging the cartilage more with those. And this is actually inhibiting the degeneration of it. And it's also shown to also boost the other collagen types in the body. Okay, so here's how it works with joint studies. Told you I would show you this. You take a look, the very first joint study was right here. And you can see that after 45 days, 89 of the 80 subjects, out of 89%, so it was kind of a tricky little thing here, 80 subjects taking it had improved joint comfort. And these are all done on different types of measurings all the way around. So, but you can see it takes a while. Some people took a little bit longer to get up there, but by the time they got there, they had some significant responders all the way around. But 80 out of 89 subjects that worked for these people had joint pain. That's why they were recruited for the study. If you take a look at this most recent one, though, this was really quite telling. 70 days. This one went longer. 70 days versus placebo. And by the way, the VAS and WOMAC, if you look down there, these are how you score pain. Different scales of pain that people can actually score from. And the clinicians that are doing the trials, they use these pain. These are actually pain charts. People can check them down and use them to try to assess, how bad it was in the beginning. So obviously in the very beginning, everybody's got the pain, everybody starts here, but these are by the time you get to here, that's why I tell people it takes 60 days. You look at this, the longer you take it, the more responders you had. You get up there, so you had this many people that with a 30% decrease in pain, which is gigantic. I don't need to tell you that. But the bottom line is that's what you've got here. So that's why it takes that long to get it done. And both these studies show that exact same thing. I always say 30 days is definitely a minimum, 60 days. And then after that, if it's not helping with the pain, surely you want to go to if you've got pain, you want to go to the doc and get whether you get an x-ray or whether you get an MRI to find out what's going on. If you've got a lot of pain, that's, always our first thing. But to keep it from getting worse, this is another thing that you can use if you don't need the surgery at that time. Okay, let's go to skin health. We have this is that thing. The whole idea is we're trying to avoid the dermal layer collapse and help offset that photoaging we just talked about. So here, this is skin. See the trajectory in skin? Remember we talked about that, especially women in menopause? Look at this. See, it's a little bit more than this. Boom, it just starts to collapse at this point. So that's what's going on with the collagen that supports our skin there. All right, so the idea here, by increasing the available pool of these building molecules throughout the body, it also help maintain the integrity of the dermis below the skin, which is crucial for youthful skin. And this is again, we have the same one here right there, but this is what it looks like. This is actually a real shot of it. Young dermis. You can see how nice that is, nice intact. And this one is all pretty much there. Kind of like a dried prune, from here all the way around. All right, so this is the first one. This was the first study on skin. And this is when we started going, we already knew it was happening. We're just waiting for this trial before we could actually start writing about it. We're not like other companies. We will not promote anything I have a clinical trial that will prove it. Even if it's working or any of those things, it doesn't matter. We need a clinical trial to prove it. So we had to wait for these to come. All right, so you take a look at this. Look at the dryness. This is really the big one. This one here. And that's what I think the first thing you're going to notice within 30 days, you're going to notice. And this is 12 weeks later. As you can see, of course, obviously there's a baseline at the beginning. That's what the dryness was in all of the participants. And then look what it came reduced to by that time. And then these are the wrinkles and the facial lines here. Now, this is a big drop. So obviously this is what it was at the very beginning of the study, but you can see a reduction in about 15%. Of wrinkles and so on. That's huge. That is definitely, reducing the signs of aging significantly, 15% improvement. And here's what the results were of that first study. Reduction of wrinkles and fine lines, and these are measured, by the way. It's all in your PDSRG if you want all the details. Improvement of skin texture by increasing the hydration and reducing skin scaling. Maintenance of the integrity and healthy levels of hyaluronic acid, which is the essential role in skin hydration. Retaining water in that dermis, and increase the collagen content. Now, that's the big one. Now, I didn't see it in the study, so I did challenge it until the next study came out. But that's the hard part to do. All right. And then, of course, the enhancement in blood microcirculation to the face. So that improved microcirculation, effectively nourishing the cells better with oxygen. So helping protect against free radical damage as well. That's from the photoaging. And removing the waste from the tissue. So those are results of the first one. But let's take a look at the current study that was just done a couple of years ago. This is pretty big. So you take a look at all of these here. These are the different things that they were measuring here, and using machines to measure them too, like lasers and so forth, to actually measure the width of the wrinkles and all of these different things, the elasticity in the skin. 12 weeks of supplementation with the intervention reduced visible and measurable age-dependent signs of the face, including elasticity. Right here, look at the difference in this. So as you can see, again, it's week 12. But at week 6, you've got the improvement here between the placebo and the biocell, and then you've got week 12 significantly. So it takes a little time to get to that point. But this was the big one for me. By the way, these were the crow's feet, all this, the mean improvement, the percentage improvement in crow's feet versus placebo, obviously significant, 2 or 3 times more than placebo. And again, you take a look at this. This is the big one here, the collagen content. Now, if you look at the numbers here, again, these are percentages. If I can increase the collagen under your skin in the dermis layer, in the extracellular matrix, by 10 or 15%, like you're seeing here, that's crazy, because all it is going down otherwise. It's always going to be going backwards, as we saw from that. But increasing that, you're really staving off the inevitable nicely. So this was a very powerful study here. And hence, obviously, we added it. Oh, you can see that's an old picture there on the right there. Change that one out. All right. Okay, let's summarize all this stuff. Then we'll open it up for some questions and everything. All right. Summary of unique points. Adults with joint discomfort or overuse and/or support skin health and appearance. And generally, older adults or competitive athletes would take 2 to 4 a day, 2 for skin and 4 for the joint. And again, this is the formula here. And that's what I don't want you to forget. Type 2 collagen, these get to the target tissues. The skin studies demonstrate enhanced blood microcirculation and reduced facial aging signs, reduced wrinkles, improved skin tone, improved hydration. So again, just all the stuff that we looked at, I just put a little summary here for you. And also tissue recovery for athletes from the pounding there. So the connective tissue of the joint able to recover. And this is your big one, right? It's this. That's your big one. This patented process delivers the natural ingredient synergy and ratio, mimicking human molecular composition, and reduces the molecules of the micronization for proper absorption and action at the target tissue. So that's really your big message right there. That's why it works. 2-in-1 product may be the best non-clinical solution for joint and skin health. There's some studies right there for you too. You can click on typical use. Okay, here, this is kind of, after looking at all of the research around this product, certainly for skin, you only need 2 daily to support skin health. But for the joint support, if there's pain, and if you're taking it before that, you could probably get away with 2 a day as well, right? But for joint cartilage health, we move into a little more. So anyway, that's what a typical use. Recovery from specific activities, all the things we just looked at, right? 1 capsule in the morning, 1 capsule at night for skin health. For optimal joint results, 2 capsules in the morning, 2 capsules at night. You can take them all at once if you want. I'm psycho about delivery. I like to get, 1 in and then get another one there. So your body takes its time and you kind of flood the blood throughout the day with the ingredients so it doesn't lose any of it before it absorbs it. But of course, if you're an athlete and you're dependent on this for a living, you're going to do it exactly the way I tell you to do it rather than, just taking it all at once. Okay, so on the photoaging, here's your notes now. So these are your notes on that. I promised you this little piece on photoaging because we did a beauty from within promotion here. Here's the supplements that you would want. And there's a real take-home message in all this. And you can use all this stuff for any purposes if you're going to promote the same thing, a beauty from within thing. All right. So this is the recommendation, how to protect your skin all the way around. Control. Remember I said over 90% of all the damage to skin is from the environment. So we can protect that. Isn't that great? That's the beauty of all this. So obviously, the first one, avoid sunlight as much as possible and use sunscreen. So that's the no-brainer. Protect skin damage from the inside out. Because the stuff you're putting on your face, I'm not talking about sunscreen, that works to block the sun, to a certain extent. But when you're putting on topical things to help your skin stay young, they don't work nearly as well. And you'll see this when you find out. You'll see the studies on that. By consuming a healthy diet, for sure, stay active and maintain a healthy weight. So that's the beginning of it. Proper dietary support, okay, to bridge the food gap. You're not getting the stuff from your food. Remember we said it's not available. All right, between your levels of vitamins and minerals and other bioactives delivered into your food, so you got some of it there, and the proper recommended amounts, which is the RDAs, to allow the body to upregulate all of its system, including, guess what? The body's largest organ. Maybe you didn't know that. The body's largest organ is skin, to help preserve youthful skin and minimize aging and environmental insult damage. Now look at that little asterisk down here. Oral supplementation with collagen peptides, like we just shown you, have shown greater effects on skin compared to topical products, or what's often referred to as, we just talked about, beauty from within. And especially when you combine them, this is right off the studies. Look at that. There's like 16 studies right there for you. When combined with certain vitamins and minerals, that's why you see vitamin E, vitamin C, and all these topical things that are, this is for your skin. Your multivitamins getting delivered better and getting to this target area of the skin better, right? And other non-vitamin antioxidants, carotenoids, such as your superior antioxidant. So you've got your multivitamin. So this is beauty from within, your multivitamin. So, and right, because that's what makes collagen doesn't work without your vitamins. And if you got all your vitamins, it works better. Then your carotenoids. Would that look familiar? Lycopene, lutein, zeaxanthin, and astaxanthin. These are all the molecules in our eyes that protect us from the ultraviolet rays. Okay, and those are common recommendations for macular degeneration and everything else. So you've got that in your superior antioxidant. And lycopene, they're found underneath our skin to protect from ultraviolet rays. So again, it doesn't do any good to put this stuff on top of you. You want it inside, fighting everything from the top, protecting the skin. These are naturally found in our skin and eyes, protect humans from harmful effects, all right, of ultraviolet radiation. Protects against, include direct light-absorbing antioxidant properties. That's what the astaxanthin as well. We just added to the superior antioxidant. And regulation of ultraviolet light induced gene expression. So it's just helping communicate throughout the body from inside how to protect it all the way around. Mitigating environmental insults to human skin, including the photoaging. And there's your superior antioxidant. And then make sure you're getting your 1 gram per pound of lean body mass of protein. We know that. So there's your proper dietary support. Avoid sunlight, protect skin damage from the inside out, and there's a proper dietary support. Perfect skin program. And I put it all in a little thing for you. And then, of course, you add your type 2 collagen, which is what's found in the Joint Skin Collagen Plus to get the extra stuff. Now this works 10 times better all the way around. So that's the perfect program for skin. And let's go to that right there. So there's your baseline, there's your multi, there's your protein powder that you take daily. And of course, if you're not getting enough fish daily, then you would take the omega. But ready? So I put this together for you here. So complete health longevity, including joint skin, beauty from within program. Supplements to complement any diet based on budget to support joint and skin. So what am I first going to do? The minimum is your multivitamin. If someone's wanting my joint health and my skin, what is the minimum you're going to do? You're going to do a multi and your joint skin collagen. It's just not going to work as well if you don't have the multi there with it. Okay. So again, it just works that much better. And clinical trials didn't use a multi, and it still worked great, as you just saw. You add a multi to it, it's going to work that much better. All right. Now, okay, your budget, you got a better budget. Okay, let's now add that superior antioxidant. And we just saw why. All those things that are in there are protecting our skin as well as wiping out free radicals. Next ad. The ultra probiotic. This is really brand new stuff. Now, we pretty much already knew it was going to happen, but all the studies are now around the microbiome. So your probiotics, your live bacteria in your gut talking to your skin, sending good vibrations there, telling it what to do based on the environmental insults. Don't forget, we want more good bacteria. So there's a gut-skin access, and the ultra probiotic can move things in the right direction there. So that's the next ad. And then if you have no financial limitations, this has nothing to do with skin. I just put the whole program in here. This is what I do. You think of any of the top CEOs, you guys know who they are in the world. I do all their nutrition programs for them, and you're looking at exactly what they are all given right there. Oh, of course, they don't have any budget concerns. Okay. All right, so here we go. Here's your presentation. I put it all down here at the backside. Perfect collagen supplement to complement your multi to restore and protect your skin and joints. Supplies a synergistic blend, not available from diets, natural components of skin and joint tissues. There's the calling out the names of it again, that normally decline starting in our 20s, unfortunately. And some one-liners here for you guys. Helps with minor joint discomfort, improve mobility, a must for anyone trying to help restore. These are the things you saw on the other thing there, on the other one, 2-in-1 product. And those are all the things. So now you know what we started with this and we ended with this. A must for everybody there. And the call out on the right there, here, and then supports the athlete's needs as well. So we end with that. And you guys can use this for any of that. And then I put some one-liners in here for you guys. These are the way, like Eve, who's on here. You always, hey, it's for the Tin Man who needs to oil and help grease up those aging joints. And it will repair and lubricate the joints while reducing inflammation. Huge perk, is also great for skin, hair, and nails, because those are collagenous tissues. And then again, you will find that out, how much tougher everything gets. Especially the nails part of it. And then, of course, Kat, good alternative. I like the way she started this. Good alternative for pain relief and safer than non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. That's what we just talked about that throughout. And that's a big one right there. And again, you're not going to take anybody off any medication. We're not trying to treat anything. We are trying to make it better, and we're trying to stave off the inevitable. is what we're trying to do. So it may help with preventing joint wear and tear, and that's what our goal is all the way around. And of course, that one more tool in our health cabinet versus the medicine cabinet, right? Mindful, my whole goal in life right now is to get people, if they can, the protection before cure approach is what it's all about. We are a drugged out society without a doubt. Americans have we have the shortest lifespans of all peer nations. For those of you who don't know, there's 50 peer nations. Those are nations that have equal economies, equal development, and so forth. And there's 50 of them that are listed. We're dead last in lifespan, and we're dead last in health span. And we have 2/3 of every single adult in this country that's 18 years and older on daily medication. 75% of people 50 and 87 are using prescription medication regularly. So that's my big fight. Big Pharma is the bad guy, without a doubt. Hey, you need them for some things. There's no question about that. But once it just became too easy for everybody, and then you're hooked on them, and then there's a real issue. We can stop that. The protection before drug approach is what we're all after, right? So this is my little dream. You can work with my staff now, right? So you can help take care of yourself or their staff later, which would be protection before drugs with side effect approach. That's the world we live in today. We can stop so much of that happening. You guys know that. So here's my dream, right? So we got a health cabinet. Before I leave this earth, I'm 71 years old now. I've never taken any medication in my life, but I'm just saying it's like the whole idea is that before I leave this earth, I'll know I've saved the world through fitness. This is my commitment. If I see this in the majority of households, a health cabinet versus the medicine cabinet. Doesn't mean there's not going to be stuff that everybody's going to need a little something sometime. Okay, probably, not necessarily, but probably. But all these things can be eliminated. 3/4 of our $4 trillion healthcare bill is preventable from just doing the right things here, meeting nutrient recommendations. So that's all you need right there. Our omegas, our protein, and we got it all right there. And we can stop so much of that happening. And then we can go to the next level if we want. Right? Add as necessary, age and gold. We just saw it, right? Joint skin support right there, rather than bone support drugs. All they do is make it worse, but at least they'll kill the pain. Extra brain health before the brain goes bad. We're not treating anything. We're trying to stop something from happening, because dementia, which is a horrific disease, obviously, cognitive decline, ineffective. We don't have any medications for it at all. They give you a bunch of stuff, but it doesn't work. None of it does. So that would be the goal. Wouldn't that be beautiful if the world, if it was like that, and probiotics rather than other stuff as well? There's your health cabinet versus that. Not to mention the amount of money you would save, and of course the heartache of everything. There you go. That would be the goal.